Welcome. In this video, we are going to learn how useEffect works and where you can use it effectively. So let's dive in. The official React documentation says that to perform side effects, we use this useEffect hook. Okay, so what's a side effect? Now to answer this, I've prepared a very dummy application where on landing, it fetches some movies, which will do that, and then there's an input field. Now, this input field is binded to the state variable. So if I type something, you'll see these highlights. So what's happening? The React, it sees, okay, this state variable, this state is changing. That means this component needs to be re-rendered. So that's a normal React behavior, right? But what about this API call where on landing, I'm fetching something, right? And this API call depends on multiple factors. It depends on the network speed. It depends on that server. So that's something that React cannot control, right? And this API can even block our rendering. So this is known as side effect. This is something, a task or anything that React cannot control, or a task that is outside of this normal component flow. To handle that scenario, we use a hook called useEffect. For example, in our case, what we are doing is we are fetching something from a third-party server and on landing. So if I'm fetching that on button click, that's controllable. Over here, you'll see if on search button click, I'm fetching something. So that I can control, that React can control. But on landing, that's something that we cannot control. So we use a hook called useEffect. Now, jumping back to the syntax, so the useEffect hook involves two arguments. The first one is a function where you specify the task that you want to perform, and next one is dependencies that controls the execution of that function. So it's an array of variables. So if anything changes in that array of dependencies, that function will be reevaluated. Now you might have seen that over here. So I have empty square brackets, right? So what does this mean? This means only render it once. So how React will work over here, this state variables are initialized, it will render this thing, and then it will evaluate this block, it will execute this fetch call, and once it's done, it will update the state, and then it will reevaluate. Cool. So how about if I add a variable over here? So over here, if I add search, let's say I want to use a search variable, what will happen? Yep, you guessed it correctly. Now, whenever my state variable changes, that means whenever this will change, if I type something like terminator maybe, so what will happen? It will make an API call on every input. And that's it. That's useEffect. Now to summarize, so useEffect is a hook that's used to perform a task that's outside of that normal flow and based on an array of dependencies. And that's it. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, and for more updates, do subscribe. See you next time. Bye.